Well, this is a very sad time in our country, fellas. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Rest in peace. The man was a patriot, and I'd like to extend my condolences out to his wife and kids and his family. It's fucked up what happened. So let's get everybody's opinion on this, Russ and Eric.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough day. It was, I didn't want to believe it. I heard that he was shot, and then I saw a video, and then I saw an up close video, and from there it was just everything was downhill from there.
Yeah,
Um,
when it ended up happening, because I'm working over in the mine, so we don't get any fucking signal. I get back up to where the offices are. Russ were talking, blowing up the phone for obvious reasons, and then what was it? I didn't get to see the messages, but Russ gives me a phone call and he tells me, yeah, Charlie Kirk was killed, and then Eric sent the video over to us, and because at the time, because when I was working, you guys were trying to figure out, it was like he was in critical condition and they were getting him to the hospital. But then, so like when I watched the video, I was like, oh way, dead on arrival. It was a very gruesome video. They hit him right in the jugular vein. You could see all the you could see all the blood rushing out. It was you could he died instantaneously. That was fucked up.
I want to apologize for sending that. It was a pretty rough video. I should have given a warning about that.
No, no, it's I don't honestly, I don't feel like there's any need for you to apologize, man. It's just it's honestly, man, it's news, and we're not regulated like the news organizations. You see these videos all the time, like in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, but honestly, it gave me the answers and information that I need. I mean, like, if I had signal when that happened and at the time, and and I'd seen that video earlier, I would have knew before he even made it to the fucking hospital. I mean, it's just sadly, you could tell. I mean, it was just that was an instant death. They say it's not. I mean, and the people that were recording, they weren't recording it to see him die. They were just recording the video because it was one of his rallies. It was a Comeback America tour. He was starting it out in Utah. They were just recording him because they post clips on YouTube Shorts and all of that, and that got shown on the fucking feed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Russ, what do you want to say about on the matter?
Well, unfortunately, a great patriot had to die. Young guy, started off very young, very smart. Well, that unfortunately is what hate does to you. You know, when you hate that bad, this is what happens. If people got to start moving on when they have something they disagree with. The nice thing about Charlie Kirk, one of the great things about him was that he liked to debate. If you had something you didn't agree with him, he said, walk to the front of the line and we'll discuss it. I'll listen to your side, and then you listen to mine, and then we'll figure out and go from there. That's it. Sad. I'd like to reach out to his family and friends in America or the world, by that matter, and say sorry to hear what happened to him. Hopefully, he's at rest and at peace now.
Our
Anyway,
Yes,
go ahead.
again, our condolences to his wife and kids and family and love. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so everybody knows if anybody's been watching it. He spoke at over 3,500 colleges and went to high schools, trying to educate the young people out there and touch base with them, get them to realize what's going on in our country today. Talk about the Constitution, how things should be working. And my belief is that he's one of the number one reasons why a lot of young people in America voted for Donald Trump this time around. because he
Absolutely,
let him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the man's a patriot, and now
Yeah.
he's a martyr. And the thing is Charlie has passed the torch down to us, and we have to now carry on in his footsteps and spread the word and spread the truth, and be willing to, listen to both sides and talk to them and debate one another and challenge each other. We need to carry that social movement forward in lieu of Charlie's absence, because that's what he would want. These to cower and cowtail, and they want to scare us and try to bring us down and intimidate us and say this is what's going to happen to you if you speak up against the powers that be, and we're not going to let that happen, and Charlie wouldn't want us to let that happen. Never give up, never surrender, and this is only going to make us this incident did not make us weaker. It only emboldened us and made us stronger.
Go ahead, Eric. Hello.
You okay, Eric? I know it's a hard thing.
Sorry about that. My thing, I pressed the wrong button. His wife ended up giving a statement the other day from his studio,
Yeah,
and
that was
and
nice.
yeah, it was. And since she did that, Turning Point USA, they have received 32,000 emails from separate people saying they want to start a chapter where they're at.
Oh, that's great.
And
Yeah,
I
I gotta give her credit. That was a tough thing to do,
and
and she was strong and she got through it. She really
and
did an
she,
excellent
and,
job too.
and she was there. Her and her children were there when
I
it
know.
happened, to add
Yeah.
insult to injury.
Right. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah. One of the things I want to do too right now while we're talking about it, is reach out to some young people out there. Listen, you got to educate yourself. You're going, one of the things he was concerned about is that they're going into schools, colleges, they're starting them off as freshmen. They're starting to brainwash people into, what's going on the other side with the communist stuff, and they're confusing them. And he's trying to get the right message out. You got to educate yourself and find out what's going on with everything, with the Constitution, with this country, with communism, how it works, what's going on, what they're trying to do. You can't sit there and just accept what they tell you.
You can't be
You
a
always,
follower.
yes, you got to ask questions. You got to not believe what you hear. One of
You
the
got
things
to
I try to do when somebody tells me something about
you,
anybody or something, I
you got
try
to
not to form
question.
my opinion about that person. I question what they're saying, or I will go out and find out for myself this and find out that, so I know what's the truth. And that's what he tried to do. That's what he was doing, and he
You have
did
to
it well. There's
you
nobody
have to
actually like
question.
him right now for a person that young, and the knowledge that he passed on, and that's a lot of the good that he was doing. That's why he was so effective. And the guy never stopped working. He's like Donald Trump, never stopped working. Every day he was out there doing it, all over the place, everywhere.
And a
So
matter of fact, there's people on the opposite as of now. Kid Rock got that rapper Eminem, and then some other rappers as well. And these guys are actually on the opposite aisle, and they're all standing up for Charlie Kirk, and they're all like, what was I think it was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. I can't remember the other gentleman, but it was Eminem and what's his name, Kid Rock. They talked about the unfortunate thing that happened, and they are now also going to put the work in to continue, or basically to advance in schools what Charlie was trying to do. Which I was glad to see. They said it was Eminem. I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically like, it doesn't matter, if we got different political, differences. We got to educate the children, basically, and So all of these singers and celebrities and whatnot, and they're gonna start investing into the schools and carrying on what Charlie started in lieu of his absence, which I was very glad to hear.
All right, one thing you just said that confused me in the beginning when you started talking was Kid Rock's not on the opposite political side.
No, no, he's not.
That's what
No,
you said.
well, I didn't mean to say it like that.
I know, but all
Trying,
right.
I said it. No, I was on my soapbox. But anyway, no, what I was trying to say is, I'll reiterate. What I was saying is Kid Rock, and he's done this before. Kid Rock, he got a hold of a long time ago. I forgot the name of the actor, but he's a hardcore leftist, and they both tried to unify the country. So this time around, Kid Rock went to some. Well, first he went to Eminem's. He's a progressive man. He's got his liberal beliefs, and Eminem extended the olive branch, and he said, "Yes, no, we got to get these kids to in the to start debating and questioning things, spreading the work that Charlie did." And then what ended up happening now, other rappers are getting involved, like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, I think Jay-Z. There was another guy, and it's all everybody's other celebrities are doing it too to pass the torches. So on multiple spectrums of the political aisle.
Hello out there. This is Russ from American Bald Eagle. We'd like to tell you folks about some places that we go to and that do a pretty good job. Let's start off with the Henderson Harley Davidson at 1010 West Warren Springs Road in Henderson, Nevada, 89014. There's 1-702-456-1666. For all your new and used Harley Davidson needs, they have a great service department down there. They also have a lot of Harley Davidson memorabilia and clothing. You'll really a little piece of Americana. They got a great service department, real friendly salesmen. It's a mom and pop old school Harley Davidson dealership atmosphere. The whole place is great down there. They all do a real good job. Stop in for a complimentary cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate. Okay, next up, let's give a shout out to Joey's New York Pizza at 11165 Southeastern Avenue, Suite 100 in Henderson, Nevada, 89052. Phone number is 1-702-566-00. Authentic New York pizza and Italian cuisine. Don't forget to grab yourself a cannoli and some tiramisu. Don't forget to say hello to Joey, Crystal, and Mia and the crew when you visit. They do a great job. You'll really enjoy it. Okay, let's give a thank you to Leatherneck Club of Las Vegas at 4360 West Spring Mountain Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89102. Phone number is 1-702-368-1775. They have an award-winning hamburgers down there, full and other great food options, ice cold beer and unique cocktails. You'll get your money's worth down there. They'll take care of you. A proud establishment, bar and grill. It's also a museum with war memorabilia from World War I up to the present time. They are very veteran community. Give a shout out to Ghost, Andrew, Chris, and give the gang a visit sometime. They'll enjoy the company. Last calls for Straight Outta Philly Stakeout. 1659 West Warren Springs Road, Suite 100, Henderson, Nevada, 891. Phone numbers 1-702-463-8300. They have all the great subs right out of Philly. They also have a drive-through window that you can drive in or you can go inside. They do a real good job. Okay, that's it for now. Those were all good.
Yeah.
All of them. Huh? Okay, great.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's
Yeah.
it's Eminem. He's he did a 180 from what he was when he was younger to what he is now. And
Right.
unfortunately, I don't know. Eminem. I can't listen to that guy anymore. He's just
I,
I don't know. As
I,
a father,
I,
I just can't. Yeah, it's
I'm not a fan. Well, and I'm not trying to be biased or anything. I know, we're trying to be, and that's why Kid Rock and him joined forces. Like I'm not typically a fan of Eminem's political beliefs either, but I respect how what that he does agree. I mean, it doesn't matter what you believe in. We're all Americans, and we have to, we got to debate and have and discourse, and we have to have dialogue and question one another and learn from one another. So I can respect that, but I understand what you're saying too, Eric. You know,
yeah. So I guess this guy that Tyler Robinson, who they say the suspect is, I
Right.
guess this guy he's deep inside that world where they say that he was living with a transgender male, and that was his
Right.
friend at the
His
time.
lover. Yeah, his
Yeah,
lover. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. And then so now I just read that the FBI is opening up investigations into organizations that may have known about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Yeah. And the other thing is that he definitely was influenced by the other side and
by the
got the wrong
propaganda,
message.
by the
Right.
prop,
And he ended up he
by
ended up
the
being hateful and
communist,
everything.
the
Yeah.
communist propaganda, and that's
Right.
the thing. Like the
It's out there. It's out there, that's for
and
sure.
the and the FBI is investigating these organizations because I do firmly believe in it. I mean, that kid's a little shit for what he did. Number one. Two, at the same time, it's not just about him. It's about the organizations and groups that he's a part of. These people are trying to keep us down, and we're
The
not going
influence. Yeah.
we're not going to fucking allow that to happen. And this is just history repeating itself. They shot Kirk. They killed JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln. These people stood up
Right.
and preached for what is right, and they were stricken down. They're patriots, and we're not going to allow them to keep us down. We're just going to keep fighting because that's what those people would from us and would expect
Right.
from us to be
Absolutely.
leaders.
No, such a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It's tough to even, it's tough to even like grasp my head around it. I still can't believe it.
I know.
Of all people, Charlie Kirk. It's just Charlie Kirk. This guy
I
didn't have
know.
a bone in his.
Innocent guy. Yeah. I
He
know.
was. He wasn't polarizing. You know what?
No.
He lived his way of life, and he preached it. He didn't
Right.
force it on people. And he was there. There are past tweets that he put out that was saying that a lot of people try to say he was anti-gay, but he actually wanted gays to come into the conservative party to understand the party and to learn about the party and to learn about their values, even if it's not aligned with their personal, lifestyle. They
Right.
still want them in there, and
He was a Christian man, and when it came to the gays and the transgenders, look, he wasn't he wasn't a meaning like he felt like their lifestyle was wrong,
In his
but
opinion. Yep.
but he also he also but at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. I mean,
Yeah, he
I
didn't put
mean you
anybody down for what they did. He just yeah.
I don't agree with your lifestyle was his mentality. However, basically this is America. You do what you got to do. It's your life, of happiness and may have you. That was his mentality. I mean, he wasn't out there trying to just simply, gay bash people or be a transphobe or whatever. He was just, I it was just, you know what I'm saying. He was like, I don't I think it's wrong. I think it's weird, but at the same time, it's your choice. It's your body. It's your choice. Whatever, you know.
But even being something different that we are, when it comes down to the United States and America and the Constitution, there's right and there's wrong. You can still, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that lifestyle, but that's not me. But the thing is that even though they have that lifestyle, they can still come to the truth about how things really should be and how they are. What's the Constitution about? What's America about? What's freedom about? What's
Yeah, no,
respecting your neighbor, no matter what you are? And the whole thing is that they're trying to destroy this country.
they
Donald
are.
Trump, Donald Trump is in there, and he's trying to get this stuff in line and get it the way it should be. And so is his administration. Now, nothing's perfect, but the thing is
And
that if this country kept on carrying on the way it was before he got in, it would have been all done.
and
So, and they're
and
still trying to do it, and they are going to keep trying to do
and
it, and we're not going to let it happen.
and ironically enough, when sorry, did I cut you off?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, finish your.
I can't remember it now because you cut it off. Go ahead, just
What
go.
what I was just going to say is simply that, when they assassinated him, ironically, Charlie had the last laugh, and this is why, because he really proved everybody that these people, these propagandists, the powers that be, these people, they can't handle the fucking truth. And they are threatened by us. They know we are winning. They know our movement is becoming stronger. The movement, fathers, and the Constitution, and everything that is expected of us as Americans. They know that we are rightfully taking this country back, and they're threatened by us, and they're doing everything in their power to try and stop us. And that means we have to keep the momentum. It That's what I would like to say as a caveat.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is Mark Levin.
They're scared. That's why they took him out, because they are scared of us. They kept us down for so long. They are scared that people like him and the rest of us are unraveling it and taking it apart. And we just have to keep the momentum and keep it rolling. All right, I'm done.
All right. Last night, Mark Levin was on. He had all day yesterday, actually, at different times on Fox. He had a special on Remembering Charlie Kirk, and he had him on doing an interview with him. This is when he was 26 years old. Anyway, if you guys ever get a chance, if you could try to watch it, watch it. It shows you just about how versed he was, how versed Charlie Kirk was in all this stuff that's going on. Anyway, it was real good. That's all I wanted to say. All right.
He was a smart guy. You know what? I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, I liked listening to him. He had this crazy photogenic memory, how he could just recall things left and right. And it was true. The guy was smart. And, he figured out that, college may not have been the best place for him because it might, the indoctrination that they go through. And it worked out in his benefit because, he started a movement. And, well, it was like during the election when they were doing all the Trump rallies and whatnot. The last one I went to was a TPA, or, a Turning Point Action, or Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
And so it was, the last two speakers were Charlie Kirk and then it was Trump. And let me tell you, the roar and applause for Charlie Kirk was insane. Everybody was just cheering and just screaming, and then it was louder than Trump's, and that just shows the influence that this guy has on the youth, the people, the older folks, and that reaches international. I saw somewhere yesterday that it was Korea, South Korea. They had people rallying in the streets, and they were screaming. They were chanting Charlie Kirk, and the same goes for London. They had over 1 million Brits out there, wanted to take their country back, and they were they did a vigil for Charlie Kirk, and it was just.
Our friends from Denmark called us about it when it happened. Russ, you want to get into that?
Oh, that's all right. I don't care about that. Anyway, I was just trying to let Eric finish talking. Go ahead.
No, that's it. It's just I don't know. This is still pretty tough to even talk about. It hurts. It just
Absolutely.
It does bother me, and I'm going to tell you, it's funny because like a lot of this stuff, when it happens, it bothers me. But this one it really bothers me. It actually pisses me off. I'm so
Me
freaking pissed
too.
off about it, and because the guy didn't deserve it. The thing that I was talking about this episode with Levin, that he had him on for an hour back in when he was 26 years old. This guy's so well versed. All this stuff with the communism. He goes back to the history of Plato, Socrates, their thoughts, all this stuff. It all comes into play when it comes up into the communists up to now. And he really knows what he's talking about. And he really is effective. But anyway, yeah, if you get a chance to watch that show.
And that's why we have to channel that anger and use it productively, like the founding fathers did, and like Charlie Kirk did, and many.
Right. And if you see a young person, try to talk to them, do something. But
when this election coming up, and on top of that, this election's coming up with your representatives, channel your anger into the polls and vote for the politicians that are this country going in the right direction. That's
what he said for Trump when he was going for the election. He said he took a bullet for us. Now get down there and put your ballot in for him. We owe him that. He almost gave his life for us. That's what he said about Trump when he was going for election after he got shot.
And Charlie and bullet for us.
That's right.
And we have to use our anger at the ballot box to vote.
And this other guy, I hope he gets a death sentence. They got it in Utah.
Me too.
I hope he gets it.
That kid needs to get the fucking death sentence, which state of Utah.
And one other thing I want to mention is that I feel sorry for that kid's parents. The father was retired cop after 22 years. He turned his own son in, and his mother, the friends, his family.
Very embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing for them. They did the right thing, though. They had him, they got him in and got him turned in and got him out of here. But they had to deal with this stuff too. That's pretty sad for them because I'm sure they didn't bring him up like that. That's for sure. They were good people.
They were a Mormon family. As a matter of fact, Charlie was actually praising the Mormon community before he got shot. And we do have to commend the parents for stepping up and doing that for the country. We definitely have to commend them for that. They did the right thing. Because Russ was saying, to piggyback on that, wouldn't believe they would raise their son like that.
No. So one of the big things right now online with the Krasenstein brothers and just a lot of liberal influencers is they're channeling what the grandma said. The grandmother said that, the entire family is MAGA. And, and I heartily believe that, I believe that. But for some reason, they don't think that kids, especially young kids now, this kid was 22, they could shy away from the family. They think that just because, their parents are MAGA or, Trump supporters, that he has to be a Trump supporter. And we're seeing the exact opposite of that from the kids now. They're, even liberal parents, they're not just stepping, goose stepping to their parents and, following exactly what they say. And that's what they're trying to use now. And they're saying, oh, he was a MAGA supporter, but no one said that. Nobody in his family has said that to them, but they're just, assuming that since maybe mom, dad, or
I don't know much about the kids' parents, but do I think they're MAGA? I don't think they're MAGA. Beliefs are, but I definitely don't think they're MAGA. Yeah, they're just good, decent people that did the right thing, and they turned their kid into the authorities, rightfully so. I don't know. What that grandmother is spewing, I think, is complete horse shit, but who knows? Information.
You talk about his grandmother? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, his grandma. His grandma's going around saying she's trying to get her 15 minutes of fame. They're all MAGA, and then
I don't think
it just gives the Democrats fuel because they're saying, oh,
Right.
well, if his family's MAGA, then that means he must be MAGA, even though he's
Yeah.
living with a transgender male and he's his
Yeah.
boyfriend.
That's
Yeah.
fucking
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds
retarded.
really MAGA to me.
That's fucking retarded. But
Well,
Yeah.
in the end, we all know that he got influenced. He's been influenced for a while. He went the other way, and the sad thing is, a lot of other people, a lot of other young people are getting influenced like that, and they have been already. One of the good things about Charlie Kirk, his work and what he's done, he turned a lot of people around to
yes,
finally realize what's right and what's wrong, and what they were getting educated with was wrong. And he really has done a lot, and he's going to continue to do it. And so is everyone else that believes
he's
in what Charlie was trying to do.
he's
He's trying to do the right thing.
yes, he
Right.
is. Yes, absolutely. He's going in the afterlife. His work will continue on through us and many other Americans. And what he was simply trying to do is, and it's not a brainwash people to another side of you as opposed to the way that they were programmed. All he was trying to do is get people to use critical thinking and to actively, question everything around you and to understand our nation's rights and liberties and to formulate your own opinions. That's all he was trying to do, is to get us to think independently, to be leaders, not just simple subservient followers. And we're going to continue that.
Yeah.
And what I know there's a lot of stuff we keep reiterating, but yes, it's most importantly channeling that anger and just into the polls and using that anger and disgust to vote for the correct politicians that have a caring continuation of this great country. That's what Charlie. That's what, and that's what Charlie would want. You know, that's what Charlie would want.
That's what we all want.
That's
That's
what
for
we all
sure.
want.
Yeah.
That's the civil. That's the civil thing to do.
Right.
So
Well, he's going to be well missed. That's for sure.
absolutely, he's a patriot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It bothered my wife. My wife doesn't get into politics too much. She tries not to, but
Right.
she was upset. She wants to reiterate that at the end of the day, two children do not have their father.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know. I remember one of the things that the wife had said had one of the toughest things when she went home. One of the daughters asked her, "Where's Daddy?" And that's tough. That's tough.
And
She's old enough to know. I think the kids were 3 and 1. So the 3-year-old had asked. That's I don't know. That's the hardest thing. What a
Air
shame.
Air Force Two directly shipped
Right.
his body to be buried and laid. And Elon Musk and Eminem both promised Erica, his wife, the money. Promised her money to handle all of their children's educational collegiate pursuits in life. She'll never have to work ever again. They're taking care of her economically or
Yeah.
financially.
That's good.
Yeah. So
Well, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to find I want to say that his funeral arrangements are on the 21st. I'm trying to find it. His
Yeah.
exact thing. I believe it's the 21st at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium.
Okay.
oh,
Yeah, it's I'm trying to find it, but that is the date that I heard. The venue is at home of the NFL Arizona Cardinals. They can hold over 60,000 people. I thought they said it was going to be the 21st, which is a Sunday, which is next Sunday. I was trying to look up prices, but the prices to fly down there, to do a day trip, but I think it'll cost like fucking like $900 or something like that. Prices are pretty steep right now.
Yeah. It can't
I'd-
be everywhere.
I'd
Our
love-
heart's out there with him. So anyway, what are you going to
yeah,
do?
yep. Our hearts out with him, his wife and kids, his family, his friends and loved ones, and America and the world. Yeah. So
This is tough because It also makes me think about July 13th in 2024, Butler, and of what kind of conversations we would have been having if that guy Cooks or whatever the fuck his name is, if he would have been successful.
It would
And
have been
or
it would have been a civil war. That would have been a civil war.
it would have been, you know what? That's all. They just got to make sure Trump is safe. Everything will be fine. Trump just makes sure Trump is safe.
That's just another example of they're trying to keep us down and fuck you. We aren't gonna fucking. They are not gonna run our. They're not gonna run our heads into the dirt. Never give up. Never surrender. We're gonna keep fighting for what we think is right, and that's exactly. Again, I keep reiterating it. What Charlie and the other patriots, the founding fathers, would have intended. Channel that anger rightfully, ethically, and productively. You know,
Absolutely. And you know what?
right?
It's not like Democrats don't want the same thing we want. We all want freedom. But that's our freedom. We just don't want to impede on everybody else's freedom by,
Right.
do a shit like this. We all want the same thing.
And we want the freedom for everybody. That's the thing about Charlie Kirk. He wasn't just for us, he was for them too. He wants it right for everyone, the way it should be. A lot of people, the three of us, we all fought for freedom. We know what the price is to pay for it. And a lot of us didn't get back here. And we're living with that deal too. The problem is that people don't realize, the sad thing about freedom is sometimes freedom is our own enemy. That's what got him killed. It's our own enemy. But the thing is that it's the best thing you can have in this world, in this life. You're able to go to a country, and if you're willing to work hard and study and try to get ahead, you can do it. It's achievable, and you have the right to do it, and you have the freedom to try to do it. You don't have some communist that's holding you down. You're not going to get something for nothing. You got to work for it. You're not going to get it handed to you, and you shouldn't. You got to work for it. That's it. Freedom is about being able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. If you want to, it's there.
Freedom isn't free, and that's what those bastards are trying to do.
Right.
They're trying to keep us down, and fuck them. We ain't gonna let it happen.
And the problem with them people is when they get this communist comes in, it never works. Every country that tried it don't work. It's good for the people on top, and everybody below gets nothing. Now, if you want to get free housing, you want to eliminate the police, you want to get rid of the prisons, you want to get through to the government, you want to get through that. Don't get me wrong. Now, the government's got to be fixed, and that's what Trump's trying to do. But if you want everything for nothing, that's not the way life works. It isn't for nothing. You got to earn it. And if communist takes over, you're not going to get nothing in the end.
It's not free. You're taxed up your ass. You're taxed. You're taxed for the free health care. You're taxed for the free college. If it's not coming out of your wallet, it's coming out of your taxes. It's not
I'm
free.
talking about, I know what you're saying, but I'm talking about the other part of communism. Once they try to take over, they're going to control everything you do. You're not going to get, there's going to be long lines. You're not going to get food. You're not going to have the freedom to go from one state to the other, to walk down the street without getting hassled. So if you're going to give up that freedom, then you're really lost. So anyway, there's a lot to it, but yeah. Well, anyway.
But yeah, it's what you call it? Yeah. It's true though. I know we keep going around in circles, and I think given the horrible circumstances. But yep, no, it's just yet again it proves that they are, by these actions that were taken, they're scared of us. They're threatened. They're threatened. They are threatened by government to bring this country back the way it was intended through the Constitution. And they're trying to coerce us and intimidate us and keep us down. And they really showed their. Not only did they show their colors, they their hand when they did this. So
well, they've been doing it for years. They've been doing it for years.
They've been doing it for years, but the joke's on them. And now it's like laying your cards out in front of everybody to see, and we just have to simply keep the momentum going in that direction because themselves. And now that they've exposed their vulnerability, we now have to take advantage of that and use that leverage to bring the country back.
Just keep the torch lit. That's all. That's what we got
That's
to
right.
do.
That's what Charlie would want.
All right. So listen, before we head out, I want to give a few moments of silence in memory of Charlie Kirk. Okay. So let's try to have just a couple of moments of silence before we go.
Sounds good.
Okay. Here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Jake from American Bald Eagle Podcast. Come check us out on X, Facebook pages, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Threads, Mastodon, and Buzzsprout for episode updates and to contact us directly. Like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for your continued support.